Welcome to the Global Gaming Business Podcast, the industry's first and longest running podcast, now in our 17th year. I'm Roger Gross, the publisher of GGB, and this week we sit down with Andrew Burke, the CEO of Bluberi, an up-and-coming slot manufacturer, on how his company is making inroads into North American casinos. This week's podcast is sponsored by IGT. As the digital transformation continues in our industry and beyond, find out how your business can benefit from delivering a seamless cashless experience to your players across your enterprise. Learn more about IGT's Resort Wallet at igt.com/cashless. Welcome to the Global Gaming Business Podcast. Our guest today is Andrew Burke, the CEO of Bluberi. Andrew, thanks for coming in. It's really good to see you. It's been a couple of years. Nice to get together with you finally.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
I think the last time we were together was right before the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, early days of it, if it wasn't right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so tell me how Bluberi got through that. I mean, you were just a young company, just really starting off, in your push to become a major gaming manufacturer, and that probably put a little crimp in your
Yeah, it certainly set us back a year on our kind of growth plans, but I think, like everybody, we tried to find the sort of silver linings in the pandemic, and our team is very resilient, which is great. We learned that sort of all together,
sure.
Going through, and it gave us a chance to sort of reorganize some things in the business and sort of refocus some stuff. So we have probably some more of the core functions of the business that are non-related to game development here in Vegas now.
Right.
Accounting, finance, HR, manufacturing, and then our office in Quebec in Drummondville, which has always been an outstanding center for game development and technology, is now focused on that.
Okay.
And so, and then coming through the pandemic too, I think we came out of it with customer sentiment being much higher, a great mix of folks on the team as well, and experienced folks on the team. And, we really got through it great,
Sure.
and kind of knock on wood, because not everybody did.
Right. Sure.
But for us, I think, it was a good chance to test our resiliency
Right.
early in my,
Sure.
my days there.
Was it a little difficult having to work through the Canadian lockdown? I mean, that went on way longer than the lockdown in this country.
Yeah, I think anybody that had to deal with different rules and different regulations in different places,
Right.
Had to sort of adjust and adopt. And I'll tell you, one of the things that really changed for me is that I definitely used to be the guy that said everybody should be in the office,
Right.
a bunch in the office all the time. But we had a ton of productivity, and particularly in our game development team, not being in the office. And so I've sort of changed my mind on a lot of those things, and we've moved to much more of a hybrid model, and particularly in Canada, as they can only legally really go back to the office within the last couple of months.
Yeah, right, sure.
And so we had to be again resilient and adapt, and it's worked out great. So we've been able to attract new talent to the organization that doesn't necessarily live right in Drummondville,
Sure,
or they kind of live wherever they want now. And we've got a system that works to get the games going. So.
Yeah, no question. So, what are the changes? You mentioned you brought the accounting functions and things like that here, the manufacturing function. What other things have you put into place since you've been CEO here?
Man, it's sometimes hard to even remember.
Right. Yeah.
But I think first and foremost, it's been about. I always think about this way of I want to develop, retain, and then attract great talent.
Right.
And I think in that order. And we really had some great folks already at the organization when I got here, who have now, most of them have been elevated into larger roles with more responsibility,
Okay.
and sort of more decision-making authority, because they deserved it.
Yeah.
I think we've now we retained them, and then we sort of developed, helping develop them and be part of that. And then we've attracted a lot of really great talent. Some at the senior level that you may know, Mike Brennan, our Chief Product Officer,
Right.
Casey Whelan, our Chief Commercial Officer. But then as you go down through the organization, there's a really great amount of experienced talent, in our product management function, Christian Smith, in our marketing, Leslie Hodges,
Right.
In finance, Millie Brennan, who I work with at AGS. It's a very deep bench of folks that have sort of chosen to come to work at Bluberi.
Yeah,
I mean, they said, hey, going to leave whatever job I had and come here. And so it's a humbling thing, and it's a big responsibility.
Well, a lot of people you mentioned had really nice jobs at some of the major manufacturers.
Absolutely.
And other companies. And the fact that they came to Bluberi, and have faith in you, I think that says a lot for you and for the company.
I try to earn that every day. It's a responsibility, and we want it to be a place that you would want to come to work to.
Sure.
And that onus is on me and our executive team to make this an environment that's fun for them to be at, enjoyable, and challenging and rewarding.
Sure.
And so it's been fun.
Well, before you came here, Bluberi's strength was Class 2 and systems, Class 2 systems as well, and you were brought in to really introduce them to the Class 3 markets. Are you just focusing on Class 3, or are you still building on the strengths of the Class 2?
I think with Bluberi's sort of rich history in Class 2 and being one of the first companies to really do Class 2 the way they did it, there is a lot of experience and skill there, and we want to double down on that. So for us, Class 2 continues to be a big focus of the business. We'll continue to do a lot there. We are doing stuff certainly in Class 3, but every title we do it in Class 2 and Class 3.
Okay.
We're going to eventually develop some titles that are Class 2 first, and maybe only,
right?
Because we really believe in that segment of the business. But the way I viewed my job was to sort of get Bluberi pointed in the right direction.
Sure.
Get great people here, and then figure out ways to get stuff out of their way.
Yeah.
And so we got great talent around Class 2. We've got some new great talent that knows Class 2 and Class 3, and sort of a great team. And so those things have come together to sort of be a winning recipe.
Sure. Well, obviously with Class 2, you're going to have a lot of tribal customers. I saw just today you were approved for another tribal.
Yeah, Potawatomi. Yeah.
Right. So, what are your main markets? Obviously, tribal works, but do you have other markets that you're really strong in at this point?
Yeah, for us, we've grown some really markets significantly. So, Alabama, Florida, Washington, California have always been sort of strong markets for Bluberi. We've sort of increased those beachheads. I think we've got now sort of new burgeoning markets for Bluberi in Arizona, New Mexico, Michigan, Wisconsin coming on soon, Maryland, Ohio, and then also Texas in the Class 2 business, and Lucky Eagle and Kickapoo, and so those have been really great for us. And we're just trying to go one jurisdiction at a time, take care of our customers, be easy to work with, and then from there kind of move on to the next one.
Right.
We don't want to just shotgun and go everywhere
Sure.
and try to be everything to everyone. We want to do it smartly and methodically.
Right. Okay. So obviously, in all these markets, you had to ramp up your manufacturing as well. How have you done that? That wasn't really in your wheelhouse before you came.
Yeah, we had a really great partner in my previous job that I now have again in VSR, who's here in Las Vegas.
Sure.
Their cabinet quality and manufacturing capability is just absolutely outstanding, and they've been just great business partners to us. And so when I got here, that was one of the first calls I made. We weren't doing business with them when I started, and I called them, and we're now doing lots of business with them. We do sort of the final mile assembly here in Vegas, but a lot of it comes directly from VSR, pretty close to ready to roll, and we'll continue to do that. I think as we grow, we'll probably certainly take more components of it in-house, but we'll definitely rely on partners like VSR to help us out as much as we can.
Okay, great. So your strength obviously was game development. So that's probably a focus point here. Who do you have in charge of that now?
Mike Brennan, who's our chief product officer, he and I have been just very aligned on the way we want to run the business. We talk about he is a certified game expert. He knows everything about every game in the market, the history of them, what made them successful, and he's also a very process-driven guy, which I really want to be a process-driven guy. I'm less of a process-driven guy at times, but I really want them working with me, because it's not my biggest area of strength, and I really think there needs to be a lot of process in the game development side. It is an art and a science, and sometimes it just moves too far to either direction. But I feel like we've really got a good mix and blend of those things going on right now.
Right. Okay. Great. So the Bluberi Casino Management System is kind of unique. It's different than anything else. What is it that makes it different than some of the others on the market?
Yeah, for us, it's really about the Class 2 side of the business. We don't commercialize it in any way other than just on our own Class 2 system. I think the biggest thing for us that's been an advantage on Class 2 has been that the data is much richer and much more available on the Class 2 side, and then it's a matter of what you do with that.
Right.
Do you use that to make better decisions? And that's what we've always been trying to do, is just make better decisions with sort of data that we're given. Yeah.
Well, that seems to be a big thing in the industry these days. A lot of companies helping people out do that. Is your system compatible with some of the systems that they might bring in?
No, so for us, it's all proprietary, sort of homegrown stuff, and it works in our own ecosystem, and that's about it.
So, do you have data scientists, on your staff? That they
we do. He's probably not a data scientist, but he's close.
Yeah.
He could definitely. I don't know what. Maybe you have to pass a test to be the scientist part of it, but he could pass that test.
Right.
And so we've overinvested certainly in areas of getting data and information and trying to use that to make decisions. Whether it's in game performance or it's in operational parts of the business, that kind of stuff's really important to me. I started at a private equity firm where we looked at every piece of data on everything.
Sure.
And so I'm still sort of hardwired that way to want to use that information to make better decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you help your customers really kind of dig down into that information.
Yeah, I never want a customer to come to us and say, we've got a problem. I'd rather have gone to them first and say, hey, we think we have a problem coming. Here's what we'd like to do to solve it.
Okay, that makes sense. So you've had a bunch of new cabinets, and then you have also a lot of new games in the library. What are you most excited about at this point?
Right now we're at this really cool point where it's like the next game is the one I'm most excited about, and I always feel like we're going to be in that period for a while.
Right.
The ones that are out now are doing fantastic. They were built by the Drummondville team. Treasure Hunter and Fortune Filler, the most recent two titles we released. Treasure Hunter cracked the Eilers top 22 or 25 list at number 22, which was the first time that ever happened in Bluberi's history.
Okay.
We won the Verona Test Bank down in Southern California with these games, which was huge.
Yeah.
We won it 2 months in a row on the backs of those games, and and I think the most exciting thing for us was those weren't the games we were pumped about.
Right. Yeah.
We're very pumped about some of the stuff that's sort of in here behind you, but we think that our best stuff is yet to come, and it's only getting better. And our team is it's like a snowball rolling downhill. It's like we're kind of building our confidence and our skill sets, and they're sort of coalescing and sticking to each other. But it's getting bigger and bigger as it comes down the hill.
Yeah, and another EKG award you just got in the last month was the best new game for your mechanical reel.
It was a small data set, but we did have we had one unit, one data set.
Okay. But you were in the top 10, and you were the only mechanical reel on that entire list.
It's been a good product for us. It's cool. It's different. It's unique. I think that's the exciting thing. We have some other titles coming on the actual hardware itself, and so I think it was a foray into trying to do something different, and it's definitely different. So different. I also think customers reward you for taking risks.
Sure.
You take them, and everybody kind of looks each other in the eye and goes, okay, we know there's a risk, but we're going to take it anyway, and you sort of get rewarded for that.
Sure. Well, mechanical reels, are almost a thing of the past, but if you can do something different with them, that really makes it unique.
Yeah, and it is not. I can tell you from bringing it to life now, it is not an easzy thing to bring to life. It takes a lot of people working together.
Sure, right. Yeah.
A lot of hours to do that, to do it well. So. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of hardware to be working together.
The motors and everything's got to work at the same time.
Yeah.
And slightly different regulations about what can you display in the windows and when and that kind of stuff. So it was a learning experience. It was excellent, and I still think we have some really good titles coming on that piece of hardware. So it's exciting. It's like all the stuff we've been working on for the last 2 years, working really hard with kind of our nose against the grindstone. We're starting to see the fruits of that effort.
Right.
We talked about that a lot internally, that it's like, well, we're working really hard, and I know it feels like we're not going anywhere yet, but like one day we will.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see that sort of upward, climb.
Exactly. So what do you Give your players a convenient cashless gaming experience with IGT's Resort Wallet. Whether using a Players Club card or a mobile phone app, players will love the simplicity of transferring money from their cashless accounts to their favorite games. When they're done playing, funds are transferred back to the player's account. No more waiting in line at ATMs and no more waiting for service when a ticket printer or bill validator fails. And with IGT Pay, players can fund their cashless accounts from multiple external sources, including debit cards, credit cards, e-wallets, and more. It's simple, it's modern, and it's safe. Learn more about IGT's cashless systems at igt.com/cashless. So where do you stand on the recognizable brands? I know you did something for Mix-a-Lot a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Are you still looking down that road?
I don't think so for us. Never say never, right? Like I think anybody that always says never always regrets that. But what I would say is we're really focused on our internal brands, and we have a strategy to think about developing sequels of games after they're successful. And so we have game Treasure Hunter out that's doing really well now. So we're thinking about the next one.
Sure.
We have stuff that's even not out yet that we're thinking this is probably going to be good. So let's sketch out what might be next. And stuff like that.
So
that
you
I
have
think
to think ahead.
you have to, and I think you have to. You got to build your own portfolio of recognizable stuff for players. So and that's what we're trying to do.
So obviously math is a big part of any game. What have you learned down through the years how important math is to the success of the game?
It's critical. I mean, I think it's absolutely critical, and I think it is about how understandable is it to a player and how easily can you convey the feeling you're trying to convey to that player. We're 90% of the people that come to our games are going to lose. Right. Sure. We want them to feel good about about that.
They want to feel like they've been entertained.
Yeah, and that maybe they had a chance. Maybe they didn't hit it this time, but they saw the path. To sort of having that chance, and so we've been really focused on the culmination of sort of Mike, our chief product officer, has this saying. It's like art, math, and sound where it matters, working together. Sure. And so really trying to get the whole sort of recipe to work at the same time.
Yeah, I guess that's the magic potion.
It is, but it's like such a fine. Everything has to be sort of the right balance, because if one's too much art or too much math or not enough sound where it matters or weird sound or it throws the whole thing out of mix.
So where is Bluberi in the premium space?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about it. I think Reels of Steel has been our sort of most premium product that we have today. We don't have something today that we would say this is the premium product. Most of our stuff is either for sale class 3 or recurring class 2. We know we want to be in it. We just don't sort of know when or with what. Sure. So we're having sort of those internal debates today. I can tell you one of the fun things about Bluberi, and one of the things I like about the way our companies come together is we are absolutely talking about 2025 right now. We're sure we want to make this next quarter, but we're not obsessed with this quarter. We're obsessed with when we get to 2025, what are we going to look like? And what do we need to do starting right now or yesterday to achieve that? And we're really trying to look down the field and say, are we setting everything up to be successful when we get there?
Well, I imagine you've got to create success in your core games before you even think about premiums.
For sure, and I think we're starting to see that as a kind of early innings of it, which is great. But once you get that, you can start to build on it. So many small companies I've seen in my history and the industry has seen lose focus of the thing they do really well, and they start to add too quickly too many things, and we don't want to do that. We want to, just like going into new jurisdictions, we want to do everything we do intentionally, thoughtfully, and with a plan. Sure. I once had a guy tell me about. It wasn't a company I worked at. He said, at my former companies, products didn't launch; they escaped. And we don't want anything to escape here. We want to launch it, thoughtfully with the right plan and intention. Yeah.
So let's talk about Bluberi on the web. I mean, I know you've been active there, and you weren't 2 years ago. So how has that developed, and what are your plans now? Yeah,
one of our core values is we are the new school here, and so we think a lot about that. We want all of our installs to get posted on social media to make sure we're thanking the casino that allowed us that opportunity to be there, that we're kind of telling everybody where our products are at. We're doing fun TikTok videos to release some of our new stuff, and we just want to try. There's so much stuff you can do that doesn't even really cost you money. It just costs you time and a little bit of know-how. And we want to make sure that we're always doing that, and that we're getting the word out about what we're doing and when we're doing it. And I think it's some companies that they think of social media as sort of that's like taboo or whatever, but we're going to embrace it. I think most of the younger generation is already embracing it. Sure. There's lots of YouTubers that are streaming slots and doing things like that. We want to
Sure.
engage with those people and
Right.
talk to them. And we do have regular conversations with a number of them now, and they send us. Now it's cool. I mean, they send us unsolicited now feedback.
Yeah.
Hey, I was out in the field. I played your game.
Right.
I live streamed it to my fans.
Yeah.
Go watch this clip. And by the way, I didn't say this on the video, but here's the 3 things I didn't like.
Yeah.
And that's valuable.
Yeah, sure,
it's really valuable to us.
Yeah.
So
And
we're going to continue to
lives 24 hours a day sometimes.
They really do.
It's pretty amazing
Yeah,
how
and-
often they're there.
And they're experts.
Yeah.
And so we want that.
Yeah.
We want that, sort of relationship and feedback. And we're going to continue to push that
Right.
and to find ways to take that sort of even another step further.
So where on the online casinos can you find Bluberi?
So right now we have a deal exclusively with Bragg Entertainment. They're going to be taking our content. I don't think our first title has launched yet, but we're kind of handing over our first 3,
Okay.
products with them now. So nowhere yet.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Well, Bragg has a lot of good connections, so that's probably a good company.
Kent Young is there.
Exactly.
Kent's a friend, a mentor. All of those things. I was excited. We've been trying to work together for a really long time, so it was cool to really do something like that together. So
Right. So that is a very competitive field. As you know. Have you ever figured out how to get on that first page of games that come up there?
no, and the way I've come to is like I'm gonna let smarter people figure that out.
Yeah, really.
We want to take our content and license it to other people.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do what we do great, which is we think we do great.
Right.
Is build good games.
Right.
And then we want somebody else that knows the online space to take those games online, for us and, give us some sort of revenue share on the back or licensing agreement
Sure.
on the backside. And that's what we've been focused on. I don't see us ever, again, never say never. I don't see us owning an RGS or,
Right. Sure.
doing that. Really smart people like Kent have been doing that for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And kind of know the world a lot better than we will. So
Sure,
we're just trying to partner with the smartest people we can find,
Yeah.
and then build the best content we can build.
Yeah.
And let the chips fall when they
Sure,
may, right?
So give me your short-term and your long-term goals for Bluberi.
Yeah, I mean, I think short term is it's sometimes hourly, sometimes minutely,
Well, we have
but
G2E coming up, so
Yeah.
that's got to be your short-term.
It is, we started G2E meetings in January,
Right.
really ahead of the curve, and then we lost a little focus there, but now we're back,
Yeah.
but we're just on time.
Sure, right.
So we want to have an absolutely great G2E. We have some new titles, one that's at BMM right now,
Right.
is going to get approved any day.
Mhm.
Starting to get that stuff out in the
Sure.
field and see some data. Those are kind of short-term goals. Long-term goals, again, we think a lot about 2025. We want to be a major player that's got significant market share for a little guy.
Sure.
We're thought of. I think today people think of us in the sort of other bucket.
Right.
We just get rolled up into that.
Yeah, right.
We'd like to break out of the other bucket
Sure.
and have a Bluberi line on all
Yeah.
reports.
Right.
When they think about us.
Yeah.
And I think we're well on our way to doing that. We've got a great team out there on the sales
Sure.
side that people love. Our product's really coming along, and then we're just trying to do our best to take care of people along the way.
Sure. Great.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, you've been following your career for a long time. You were one of our 40 under 40, I believe, at one point, and it's really, really rewarding to see how far you've taken your career, and then to take a company like Bluberi under your wing and really guide them to the success you've taken them so far. I'm really looking forward to where you're
Well, I appreciate it. I can tell you, they guide me more than I guide them. It's just my goal is to make this a fun place for everybody to be. And I learn more, I think, every day than probably the other people learn from me, and that's just the way that I like it.
Sure, absolutely.
But I appreciate it.
Great. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you at G2E. I think
Absolutely.
It's going to be an exciting time. A lot of people are going to be back to their regular jobs, and we're going to see some real action there.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. With thanks again to IGT. Provide your players with the digital experience they expect. IGT's Resort Wallet with IGT Pay is simple, safe, and convenient. Visit IGT.com/cashless to learn more. To learn more about the slot manufacturing business and how small companies can make it, visit GGBmagazine.com. Subscribe to GGB News to get all the news of the gaming industry delivered to your desktop every Monday morning. Sign up at ggbnews.com and use the coupon code GGB180 for a free subscription. Don't miss a single episode of the podcast. Subscribe on Amazon, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify today. So we'll see you next time on the GGB Podcast.